I started out there, and I ran out there, and I told somebody, I tell this story all the time. Did like we were supposed to do, like we were taught to do, and go out there and break it up. And I ran out there and tried to break it up. One of their boys thought I was a manager or something. He grabbed me and threw me down. I got my hat and ran back to the side. Let somebody else break it up.
Had you known that an opposing coach had struck one of your players?
I did know that it, and it's so silly now, but Butch Lambert, who's passed away, who was when I went to the first meeting, the TV football meeting for that week, about what time to have your team on the field, what timeouts, and all this kind of stuff that I never knew about before. The first people I saw was the SEC officials, and I was happy to see them because that's the only people I knew down there. And Butch Lambert was from Mississippi, and he was on my sideline. And his son later was an umpire who just retired 3 or 4 years ago, and in the SEC for a long time. And Butch passed away. And Butch was on our sideline, and we had a couple of problems before that during warm-ups and a couple of other things. They went on the field about 10 minutes early, and I was griping about that. And they exercised on our side of the field, and I was griping about that. And so when it came down to the end, I said, "What happened?" He said, one of their coaches hit one of your players. And I said, "Well, dang, I don't even do that." I said, "Why don't they, what you gonna do?" And we're gonna give them a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And I said, "Well, I don't think that's correct. I think y'all do more than that." And he said, "No, we've done all we're gonna do." And I said, "Well, I'm trying to show that I was the head coach, just in case he didn't know." I said, "Well, Butch, I think I'm gonna make history and just take our team off the field and just quit, cut the TVs off." And he looked at me and he said, "Son, some good advice?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "If you don't do something stupid, y'all gonna win the ball game." I said, "Yes, sir." Carry on, sir.
So in other words, you knew a coach had hit one of your players. You didn't know it was Coach Hayes.
And the thing that was, if you go back and watch the film, or I think I've said it correctly, Tim can clarify it if I didn't, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Later on, I don't know that we're going to stop them and beat them, but he gets another 15-yard penalty in the game.
There was a 15-yard penalty after he hit.
After he hit the play.
Then we run a play, and then there's another 15-yard penalty.
Yeah. So he helped us again to help us seal the win, because I really don't know if our defense has to go out there again with stuck in all the crowd that we had, Bowman and the linebacker Scott and Bubba Brown and all those guys. They were give out. They played, they had played a whole long game, and we lost. I remember we lost to White with a separated shoulder in that ball game. Catch him going across the middle. Dwight Clark, yeah.
So just so I'm clear though, so in other words, you were told you got back to the hotel.
I never knew it until about 3 or 4 o'clock that next morning.
Wow.
Going into that game, it's your first game as a head coach, and you're going against already an iconic head coach like Coach Hayes. Did you think about that at all? I mean, or was it later that you thought, "My God, I just..."
Well, not really, because it was just like, I'd never been to a press conference really,
Yeah.
Or anything like that. And they must have had like this little crowd here. They had probably 3 or 4 times as many people, and he would get up and talk, and I'd be sitting in the corner by myself, and I just listened to him because everybody listened to what he said, and we spoke at the like the touchdown quarterback club or the Gator Bowl meeting. They had a big banquet, and of all darn things, he got up there and started talking about the war and Jacksonville and ships coming in and out. And he was a great history guy and loved to read, and great war guy,
Yeah.
So after he got through talking, they gave him 2 red boxing gloves as a gag gift. No lie, that's the truth. That was before the game. Things just seemed to fall into place, And I got up there, and all I did was say what you're supposed to say. What we were taught to say. We're glad to be here, and great opportunity, and all this kind of thing. We played a great team, and so they gave me a big old thing of stomach pills, what do you call it, Rolaids? Rolaids, yeah, a big old thing of Rolaids. And that was the first time I'd ever had to speak in front of more than, 30 or 40 people at one time. I've been 200 people out there, so you can imagine how I impressed them.
You said these are two totally different teams, obviously.
Yeah.
If you were still coaching today, would there be some temptation to run a fast-paced offense, or would you still be running the option?
Oh, I think from what I saw of Auburn, I think there's still a place for the option. It's a different kind of option. And what I saw of Georgia Tech in Georgia, they could still move the ball. It's just cool what you recruit for and what you got, and what kind of players you have. I'd be interested to see after Boyd leaves here he's been here, it seems like forever now. He's finally leaving, and the next quarterback, how will they tweak, or how will they change their offense to suit the next quarterback? Will they do more option, or read option, or will they do more throwing? Will they do more sprinting out, or whatever? And I think it just goes back to fit your personnel, what you've been recruiting for. And a good case in point was Auburn, where they went and changed their offense from they'd recruited us for several years with that kind of offense, and then tried to go to a power game. It didn't work, and they were 0-8 in the conference last year, I believe. They come around and played for the national championship this year by going back to what they recruited to.